I know this guy. He solves murders. Maybe we need his help. Welcome to the Julie's Book Series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy schmancy stuff going on here. I don't have the talent, I don't have the imagination, I don't have the money. But I just read books and talk books. That's what I do. I read lots and lots of books and like to talk to them with you about. Please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Friday. Please check out my If Thens every single Friday. Some of them no one has seen. If I got a little carried away with Halloween, and I did suspense, and I did horror, and I did thriller, and I did cozy, and I did extra cozies, and I did not so cozies. Now we're into Thanksgiving, so please check those out. And also check out my Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this Romantic Times book review magazine. And, of course, my daily book reviews. This is book 11 in the C.S. Harris Sebastian St. Cyr series, When Falcons Fall. And usually I will sit here and tell you about Sebastian and his family and his extended family and his environment that he works in. But this time we're on vacation. We are out of town. We're on a personal mission. I will not tell you who done it, but I will tell you everything else that happens in the book. So be prepared for spoilers. I know my audio sometimes goes, my video sometimes goes. Please be patient. Please view it. Mute it if you have to. Put on closed caption. But please let it play out. I need the views desperately. So, Sebastian is the Viscount. I can't say this another. But a little bit of his thing is to understand that Sebastian is illegitimate, but the world does not know that. According to the world, he is the heir to the Earl of Hendon. And Hendon is a very powerful person, and he loves Sebastian in his own way, and because all Sebastian's brothers have deceased, he's the only one left to inherit. And Sebastian had been told that his mother was deceased, but he recently learned that his mother is not deceased. She's living over in Italy someplace. Apparently, that's the last time she was seen. So, he is trying to find her, and he's also trying to find out who his biological father is, because it's obvious when you look at Hendon and you look at Sebastian, you can tell that they are not related. Sebastian has yellow eyes. And Sebastian has recently married Hero, who is the daughter of his arch enemy, Lord Jarvis. But they really don't have too much of a role in this book at all, because we are, like I said, out of town. Sebastian's unproven but semi-assumed half-brother, who looked a lot like Sebastian, was killed because he looked a lot like Sebastian, and the killer thought that Sebastian was him. So it was a case of mistaken identity, and it was a through-the-heart thing, and the guy died. And he had bought a little music box for his grandmother. And so Sebastian feels really, 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 really bad. And besides, he's hoping he can get some answers out of the grandmother and the family out there. Here, what is this? Oh, put this down here. So he decides to go to return to give the gift, his final gift to his grandmother, the little bird music box, and talk to the people up there and see if he can get some clues as to who his father was. And he does answer a few questions, but he ends up with more questions than he started with. So then we're out of town, And we're staying at a local inn because we're gonna get ready to go see the grandmother. When the local magistrate comes to Sebastian, he's new to the job. Archie's a little new. Him and the squire check out. There's a dead body. This young girl who was only in their town about a week or so. She was a very, very skilled artist, and she was doing people portraits and building portraits and sketching. She was also looking for her own personal family tree. She had been an orphan, but she had been an educated orphan, which means there was somebody out there paying her schooling bill. And when she hits the age of 21, she comes into a very, very, very large inheritance, one that would have supported her the rest of her life, especially for this time period. 10,000 pounds would have lasted her a very, very, very long time. But she is killed because she saw something or heard something, and she had to be killed. So she never actually got the chance to well, she did meet some people, but she didn't meet some other people. So she got a little bit of an answer before she died, but not the whole answer. So that's kind of depressing for her, and we're sorry to see her go. There are several murders in the book, and they're all connected. And Hero also does some investigating for Sebastian, and she finds some answers for Sebastian. They work almost as a team this time. They're working in conjunction on the same case. They usually do, on occasion, work together. Hero usually consults her father on certain stuff, because Hero is a very intelligent, very educated female. And Sebastian likes that about her. Likes that she has her own causes and does her own thing. And especially considering who her father was. And her father always wished she was a boy because she would have been the perfect heir, the perfect son. So Sebastian is going to deliver the bird music box to Jamie's grandmother. And then we learn about Emma. Archie comes to Sebastian and tells him about Emma, and he comes to investigate. And the people, the magistrate and the constable, they all decide that it was suicide. But upon further investigation and further inquiries by Sebastian, he says, no, this was murder. Because there's a little bottom of wardroom, there's a line of a note, and it looks like it was a planned suicide. But no, this was a girl that was just starting. The more they dig up about her, she was just starting a life. She just got an inheritance. She was investigating her family tree. She had a lot to live for. There was no way in hell she had killed herself. And when they found her in a really marshy place, and her clothing was spotless and her shoes were spotless. So to get to this particular location where she was murdered, she had to have walked. And if nothing was dirty, that means somebody carried her. That means she was dead before they got here. So, and we also learned a lot about the, the X. I meant to print it out. And this poor lady, the Enclosure Acts. This poor lady lost her she had a husband and children. They had a very small farm, just enough to sustain themselves. They had a cow that gave them milk, and they were doing okay. They were just, very, very small-time farmers. And due to the Enclosure Act, she lost all of her children and her husband. A whole bunch of different reasons. And then there's also, the town has a wicked past. They had this guy that was in control of the town years ago, and he's the biggest reason why the Enclosure Acts happened. And it's just an amazing thing. I love this about these books, and I think that's what I like a lot about the Victoria Thompson books, is that she explains a lot at the end of her books. But where is it? Uh, so, do you remember George Irving's Bill of Enclosure passed through Parliament? A shadow touched the chamber's maid elf-like features, leaving her looking both older and sadder. Don't I just, milady? We didn't know nothing about it until the commissioners came and posted the act on the church door. And by then there weren't nothing we could do about it, now was there? The commissioners were the ones that decided who got what, and of course they gave all the best land to Mr. Irving, and divided up what was left around among the rest of us. Only we couldn't keep it unless we fenced it, and who could afford to do that? Plus, there was all sorts of fees we were supposed to pay. And why was that? When it weren't nothing we'd ever asked for. And it would have been bad enough then dividing up the furlongs like that. But they took away all our rights to the common and wastelands too. Nate and me used to keep a cow. The milk from the cow was worth half what a man could earn in a day. But once we lost the commons, we could keep her no more, and we had to sell her. And she lost her baby and her daughter and her husband and her son after that. Like I said before. So I don't want to repeat myself there too much. But so Sebastian, and Hero investigate. Archie helps out a little bit. I don't like the mayor. The mayor is just full of himself, and he comes in, does the inquest, and then leaves. But he's a trip. But Sebastian also discovers some distant, possible distant. We're not exactly sure yet. But the necklace that was Hero's, that her father gave to her, was the necklace that Sebastian found off a dead woman a couple of books ago. And he recognized it because it was his mother's necklace. And Jarvis had it and gave it to Hero. So they're investigating the past of the necklace, and they found one of the owners of the necklace. And that's a whole part of Sebastian's little story here, too. Oh, stop, okay. So it's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. There are several murders. Several people get killed because of what they know or what they possibly know. It's just, we get Emma's story, and what's it called? Emma's mother. She was a wealthy lady, and she had an encounter at a party. She was raped, and she gave birth to Emma, and she wanted to keep Emma, but her family said no, and she stuck her heels in as much as she possibly could, and that's how Emma ended up at the school with her education being paid for, and then the inheritance, because her mother died soon after that of fever. So it's hard. Some of the parts are heart-wrenching, so if you like really sad, there's a couple of really sad moments in the book. You understand Sebastian's frustration and not being able to get the answers to the questions he's looking for, but they do find the answer to who killed, and I will leave that to you because it's a very multi-layered, very, very plot-layered. So we have the Sebastian dealing with his family, dealing with Knox's family. We have Emma and her background, her investigating her background. And we have to find out why she was killed, why Hannibal Pierce was killed. He was an outsider. There's also, Hannibal Pierce was working for Jarvis, Hero's dad, because Bonaparte's relatives are also in town. So there's another that's a little side plot on top of that. So those are your plots. Sebastian dealing with Knox's family. Sebastian trying to find his biological father and information on his mother. And the 5 girls that were killed in this town over a time period. And there's about 3 or 4 men that were also killed It's a really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that you will continue going through the series with me. I have a couple other books I'm going to do before I start the next series. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed these books as much as I do. Have a good one.